You know, a lot of people think of the body as just kind of like a container to carry the real you around, and the soul as like the invisible, immaterial part of you that goes to heaven when you die. In Hebrew, the word for soul is nephesh, and it's a way of saying the whole you, the entire person, including your body. In biblical theology, you don't have a body, you are a body. Or at least your body is a core component of who you are. It is a part of your humanity. Theologians call the spirituality we read about in the library of Scripture that comes to us both through Judaism and Christianity an embodied spirituality. I think of Romans 12 and Paul's line, present your bodies to God as a living sacrifice. Not just your mind or even your heart, but your body itself. He also writes to the Romans that we are to offer to God the members of our body as instruments of righteousness. To offer your right hand as an instrument of righteousness, your spine as an instrument of righteousness, your stomach as an instrument of righteousness, your nervous system as an offering to God. Our discipleship to Jesus must take our body seriously, or our whole self, our soul. Nowhere is this more true than in slowing down to the pace of Jesus, what Kosuke Kayama called the speed of love. A practice to this end, our last and final practice, is what Richard Foster and a few others call the practice of slowing. Now, you won't find slowing on any major list of the spiritual disciplines. You won't read about it from the ancient church fathers and mothers. But part of that is because Jesus didn't drive a car or own a smartphone or have social media or live in a town with a freeway and a commute to work. So we have to experiment a little in our discipleship, how to work all of that out, how to work out the way of Jesus in our modern Western world, and how to develop counter habits to mitigate against the culture of speed and hurry and overload. John Ortberg defines the practice of slowing as cultivating patience by deliberately choosing to place ourselves in positions where we simply have to wait. One idea that I stole from John is getting in the kind of longest line at the grocery store and not touching my phone at all while I wait for the checker to ring me out. I forewarn you, if you've not done that, it is torture. I start bleeding out of my left eye just a little bit. But one of the reasons I do that, and it's playful in my heart, not legalistic at all, but one of the reasons that we deliberately make ourselves wait of our own free will is so that when we are forced to wait against our will by another person or by life circumstances or even by God Himself, we don't freak out and go ballistic. We are calm and content. It's very similar to the practice of fasting, which is a whole other story, but it's another practice from the life of Jesus that was central to the church for over 1,000 years, far more than that, until very recently, but it's been lost to kind of Western culture. Westerners can't fathom a way of being shaped into the image of Jesus, not via our mind, but via our stomach. We get how reading a book or watching a video or listening to a sermon or a podcast or having a conversation with our small group, how that can change us, but not eating? With our stomach grumbling, with no thought involved per se, nothing to read or listen to or study or take notes on. We have no category for that because the Western kind of culture that we live in is all about, Rene Descartes' famous line, I think, therefore I am. He called human beings res cogitans, or thinking things. We're kind of a brain on legs, that caricature of a human person. But when you realize, no, that's not right, that I'm a soul, and my body is a part of who I am. At a biological level, you can't even really separate mind from body. And then you realize, hey, wait a minute, I can turn my body from an enemy into an ally in the fight. I can present it to God. When you realize that, it's a light bulb moment that opens up a whole new set of possibilities. So the basic idea behind slowing is slow down your body and you slow down your soul. Like fasting, it's a way of getting at spiritual life, not through your mind as much as through your muscle memory and your nervous system. If we can slow down the pace at which we move our body through the world, maybe we can slow down our soul to a pace at which it can taste and see that the Lord is good and that life with God in His world is good too. So, here's just a few creative ideas to spark your imagination as we wrap this up. One is to pick one or two games, I call them, from chapter 10 in the book to slow down your life, such as come to a full stop at stop signs, don't text and drive, show up 10 minutes early for an appointment and don't touch your phone, get into the longest line at the grocery store, and so on. Commit to them for at least a week and just have a playful heart and see what it does to your soul. Pay attention to the difference in your body as the days go by and just keep whatever is helpful. Two, here's another idea. Find a focal practice. This is from the philosopher Albert Borgman, who's written extensively on the negative impact of media, TV, and entertainment on the soul and on society. He argues that we need what he calls focal practices to counter the digital distraction and multitasking and hurry of our culture. A focal practice is anything, pretty much, you fill in the blank, that gets you into flow, into a state where you kind of lose track of time. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just fully present to the joy or the pain of the now. It could be art or painting or playing music or woodworking or pottery or cooking or gardening or exercise or walking your dog in the park or making love to your spouse. Anything. Just schedule time each week, or ideally each day, for a focal practice to just kind of center your mind and attention, to ground your body itself in the present. In doing so, you are increasing your soul's capacity to be present to God in prayer and in other people in community. It's kind of that Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off kind of moment. You think you're doing one thing, actually you're building capacity for a way more important thing. Three, here's another idea. Cut 1, 2, 3 things out of your schedule. If you don't have a schedule, start there. Draw up a week or a month in the life of your daily life. Draw it up and cut a few things out. Number two, just delete a few things. Here's a few easy targets that eat up heaps of time for a lot of us. TV, social media, time kind of online, video games, texting, extra social obligations. An exercise like this does require a clear vision of your life before God, just a sense of what's your identity? Who are you? Who aren't you? What's your calling? What are you made to do, not made to do? What are your values? What really matters to you? What are your priorities? What relationships do you need to prioritize and give the best of your energies to? And what activities are honestly a bit of a waste of your time and with it your life? After all, how you spend your time is how you spend your life. These are the great questions that we all need to sit in the tension of. 4, turn your smartphone into a dumb phone. The phone is a major obstacle to an unhurried life. By that I mean the kind of modern smartphone that has Wi-Fi and infinity in your front right pocket. And not just to an unhurried life, but to spiritual life in general. It is designed literally for distraction and addiction. It's very hard to resist. And as the poet Mary Oliver once said, attention is the beginning of devotion. What is prayer? What is worship itself, if not attention on the wonder and beauty and love and power of God? So feel free to adapt as you see fit, but here's the basic idea behind a, quote, dumb phone, and you can just Google this to get a step-by-step kind of play and how-to. Basically, you disable the email function on your phone, you delete all social media apps on your phone and switch them over to desktop or just get off entirely. You disable your web browser, you delete all notifications, that's like one of the most important things, including even your text notifications, delete news apps or at least news alerts, and then delete every single app you don't need or that doesn't save you time. Keep all of the like wonder apps that make life so much easier, like Maps or Calculator or check into your airline or whatever. And then you set your phone to grayscale mode, which is less addictive for the brain. Ask a scientist to explain it to you. Google how to do this online. And if you're saying, are you actually turning your phone into a phone? That's exactly what I'm saying. You have a phone that is actually a phone and not infinity in your front right pocket designed to throw you off kilter. 5, parent your phone. Basically, what I mean by that is if you're a parent, particularly if you have young kids or you remember that stage or you're looking forward to that stage, you know that if you're a wise parent, your children, at least when they're younger, go to bed before you go to bed and they get up after you get up. That way you have a little buffer at the end of your day and at the beginning. Those of you with teenagers, you're just wistfully thinking about the glory days of quiet at night and in the morning. In the same way, to parent your phone is to do exactly that. You basically put it to bed, so to speak, before you go to bed, and it doesn't get up until after you. So you have a buffer at the end of your day and the beginning of your day where your mind and your heart is just free of any kind of digital distraction. If you want to level up, this does mean you have to buy like an old school alarm clock if you don't have one, and get your phone out of your room. I put mine on a charger, locked away in a closet in another corner of the house, like just out of sight, out of mind. And then the dream, if you really want to level up here, is to basically begin your day when you wake up with an old school alarm clock, before you touch your phone or read your email or watch the news or hear any other input, you open yourself to Scripture and in prayer to the voice of God. Whenever you pray, just put away all distractions as much as you can. Sometimes we can't with children and all of that, whether that's a phone or TV or extra noise or people around you, and just try to do your very best to present all that you are before all that God is. Remember, with any of this, you're not committing to anything long-term. Like, just view these things as like short-term experiments in living the way of Jesus. Play around with them. Don't feel pressure to perform. But as you experiment, just watch the undercurrents of your heart as the days and weeks go by. And when you find one that, man, that is really helpful, I like more who I am when I'm living this way, then, man, incorporate that into your regular life. There is no silver bullet for a suffering-free life. It's not like if you read my book, watch this curriculum, and do these 3 things, everything goes great, and you're just happy all of the time. Life is hard, full stop. Anybody that tells you otherwise is selling you something. As we said earlier, an easy life is not an option, but an easy yoke is. There is a better way to live, a way to carry the weight of life with ease and with love and with joy and with peace. It's the way of Jesus, the slow, unhurried, open to interruption, relaxed, present to God and people and your body and the moment way. And all of you are invited.